Hello students, in this video we'll see an example based on the net present value method of capital budgeting. Now this is a different example than what we have seen earlier one. We all know that for using the net present value method of capital budgeting, we require the earnings or the cash inflows after tax but before depreciation. But in this example, the given cash inflows are earnings before depreciation and tax. That means from this earnings, neither the depreciation nor the tax has been deducted. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to convert this earnings as per the earnings required for solving this numerical example based on net present value method. So the example is as follows. A company is considering investment in a project that costs rupees 2 lakhs. The project has an expected life of 5 years and zero salvage value. The company uses straight line method of depreciation. The company's tax rate is 40%. Then they have given the estimated earnings. So estimated earnings before depreciation and before tax from the project are as follows. So they have given 5 years and the earnings before depreciation tax for the 5 years are for the first year 70,000, then 80,000, then 1,20,000, fourth year 90,000, and for the fifth year 60,000. Then they have also given the present value factor at 10%, which we already know how to calculate. But in this example, they have given it ready-made, so you can use it as it is. So the present value factor at 10% is given as for the first year 0.909, second year 0.826, third year 0.751, fourth year 0.683, and for the fifth year 0.621. You are required to calculate the net present value at 10% and advise the company. So dear students, this is an example where we will have to calculate the cash inflows which are required for using the net present value method of capital budgeting. So as I've told you earlier, we require cash inflows after tax but before depreciation. Now in this given example, they have given the cash inflows before tax and before depreciation. So these cash inflows we will have to convert. Now the information given is about the method of depreciation and also the tax rate. So what we will have to do is, first of all we'll have to calculate the annual depreciation. Then we'll have to deduct the depreciation from the given cash inflows. Then from that again we'll have to deduct the tax at the given tax rate. We will get the cash inflows after tax and after depreciation. But for using this method, we require cash inflows after tax before depreciation. So whatever cash inflows we get after tax and after depreciation, to that we will add back the depreciation. Okay, so first of all we'll see how to calculate the annual depreciation. So there's a formula for that. So the formula is annual depreciation is equal to original cost of the asset divided by economic life of the asset. So now in this given example, the original cost of the asset is rupees 2 lakhs and the life of the asset is 5 years. So the annual depreciation will be rupees 40,000. So after calculating the annual depreciation, we proceed towards calculation of the cash flows which are required for calculating the net present value. So we require the cash inflows after tax before depreciation. For that sake, for calculating those type of cash inflows, we'll have to prepare this type of statement. So in this statement, we'll have year column, then earnings before depreciation and before tax rupees. Third column will be depreciation rupees. Fourth column EBT. EBT is earnings before tax, rupees. Next column will be tax into brackets 40%. The percentage is given in the example, rupees. The next column will be earnings after tax, EAT, rupees. And the last column is the column which we require, the cash inflows required to solve the example, that is cash flows after tax but before depreciation. So cash flows EAT plus depreciation, rupees. Now in the year column, we have to take 1 to 5 years because the life of the asset is 5 years. So we have taken 1 to 5 years in the year column. Then in the second column, we have taken the earnings which are given in the example. In the example, they have given these earnings. So as it is, we have taken in the second column 70,000, 80,000, 1,20,000, 90,000 and 60,000. Then in the third column, we have taken the annual depreciation which we have just calculated. So every year rupees 40,000 will be deducted as depreciation from the cash inflows. So for all 5 years, we have to write rupees 40,000 each year. Since it is a straight line method of depreciation, the amount of depreciation will remain constant for all the years. Then the next column is EBT, earnings before tax. Now this column, we will get the answer to this column by deducting depreciation from earnings before depreciation and tax. So 70,000 minus 40,000 will get EBT of 30,000 for the first year. Second year, 80,000 minus 40,000 will get earnings before tax of 40,000 rupees. For the third year, 1,20,000 minus 40,000 will get EBT of rupees 80,000. For the fourth year, rupees 90,000 minus rupees 40,000 will get EBT of rupees 50,000. And for the fifth year, we will get 60,000 minus 40,000. Earnings before tax will be 20,000. Then from this earnings, from the earnings before taxation, we'll have to deduct the tax at 40%. So we'll have to calculate the amount of tax, 40% of EBT. So 40% of rupees 30,000 will get 12,000. 40% of rupees 40,000 we get 16,000. 40% of rupees 80,000 we get 32,000. 40% of rupees 50,000 we get 20,000. 40% of rupees 20,000 we get rupees 8,000. Okay, so from this EBT we deduct the tax amount and we get the next answer, next column answer, that is earnings after tax. So 30,000 minus 12,000 we get 18,000. 40,000 minus 16,000, 24,000. 80,000 minus 32,000 we get 48,000. 50,000 minus 20,000, 30,000. And 20,000 minus 8,000, 12,000. Now these are the earnings after depreciation and after tax. But for the example, as I told you earlier, we require cash inflows after depreciation, after tax but before depreciation. So what we'll have to do is, to this earnings after tax, we will have to add back the depreciation. So we get cash inflows after tax before depreciation. So 18,000 plus 40,000 will get 58,000. 24,000 plus 40,000 will get 64,000. 48,000 plus 40,000 will get 88,000. 30,000 plus 40,000 will get 70,000. And 12,000 plus 40,000 will get rupees 52,000. Now after calculating the required type of cash inflows, that is after tax before depreciation, we'll proceed towards calculation of net present value. So we'll calculate the net present value as per this format. So we'll have a first year column in which we will have 1 to 5 years. Then the second column is cash flows rupees. Now these cash flows will be the last column of what we have just calculated, that is cash flows after tax but before depreciation. So those cash flows we will be using here for calculating the net present value. So the cash flows will be put here like what we had calculated for the first year, 58,000, second year 64,000, third year 88,000, Fourth year 70,000 and fifth year 52,000. Then next third column is the PV factor at 10%, which is readily given in the example. Even if it is not given, we know how to calculate it. A simple formula, 1 divided by 1.10. Whatever answer we get, we take the first 3 digits of that answer and we go on dividing that answer by 1.10. So, and that we'll have to do here in this case for 5 years. So that way we get the PV factors for 5 years. Now what we have to do is we need to find out the PV of cash flows, that is the present value of cash flows. The cash flows, what we are going to get in the future, what would be its present value. So how do we calculate it? We calculate it by multiplying the cash flows with the PV factor. So for the first year, 58,000 into 0.909, we will get rupees 52,722. Second year, rupees 64,000 into 0.826, will get 52,864. Third year, 88,000 into 0.751, we get 66,088. Then fourth year, 70,000 into 0.683. The answer will be rupees 47,810. And last year, 52,000 into 0.621 will get rupees 32,292. So these are the present value of cash flows that we are going to receive during the 5 years. Now we know the formula for calculating net present value. Net present value is equal to total present value of cash inflows minus total present value of cash outflows, which is also called as the cost of the project, or you can call it as initial cost of the project. So here we take the total of the last column and call it as total present value of cash inflows. That comes to rupees 2,51,776, the addition of the last column. Now from that we deduct the total present value of cash outflows, that is the cost of the project, initial cost of the project, which is given in the example as rupees 2 lakh rupees. So from the total present value of cash inflows, we'll deduct the total present value of cash outflows for the cost of the project, 2 lakh rupees. So 2,51,776 minus rupees 2 lakhs. So whatever remains, the answer will be called as net present value. So in this case, the net present value is rupees 51,776.